I really hope you'll... Before I start, I would like to say this video may be a little triggering to some people, so please, if you ever start to feel uncomfortable during the video, click out. I have the links for the websites in the description below, so go ahead and check them out if this video gets to be too much for you. Hey guys! So today we're going to be talking about the psychological aspect of eating disorders, like I had said in my last video. And for this one, I did quite a bit of research. So, went to various websites, looked at various different aspects, and then my plan was I'm gonna read off like what the website said, and I'm gonna put the links in the description, and also give you guys my viewpoint on the psychological aspect of each topic or certain topics, just because there's a lot of information that I have. I don't want to make it too long, so let's get to it. First off, what are eating disorders? This website said eating disorders are serious medical illnesses marked by severe disturbances to a person's eating behaviors. Eating disorders are not a lifestyle choice, they are biologically influenced medical illnesses. I agree with that. I didn't choose for this to happen, it just kind of started happening on its own and began consuming my life and parts of me that I didn't think it would consume. What are the causes? It isn't known for sure, but researchers believe it's a combination of genetics, biological, behavioral, psychological, and social factors of a person's life, which again, at least for me, that's true. Mine started because of comments people were making, and then what I saw in the mirror and in pictures, and I was like, that's gotta go. Is there a treatment? Yes, there are treatments for eating disorders, and some of those are psychotherapy, medical care and monitoring, nutritional counseling, medications, or a combination of all or some of these. Next is, I went and found something similar to eating disorders. It's not eating disorders, and you can't technically diagnose someone with it. It's the way some people may eat, but it's very closely linked to eating disorders. And that is disordered eating. Now, what is disordered eating? Is that just like not eating throughout the day? Yes and no. Disordered eating is a less serious but much more common version of eating disorders. It is the unhealthy obsessive relationship with food. It is eating disorders to a lesser degree and can lead into eating disorders. People with disordered eating have some of the same outlooks on eating disorders. I wanted to put that in there. The psychological aspect of eating disorders, no one really knows for sure. It's just kind of how people experience it differently. Some people may have the same looks on things, people may not. And so disordered eating is, like I said, it's eating disorders but to a way lesser degree, and you can't diagnose it. And people with disordered eating think some of the same things, such as the following. Food can be looked at as black and white, meaning there are only good foods and bad foods. You may skip a meal so you can have more in another meal, or limit calories in one meal to have more in another. I do this all the time. Anything that has sugar, anything that has a lot of fat, fried food, greasy food, I look at it as bad food. So pizza, fried chicken, cake, ice cream, stuff like that, I think it's all bad food. Whereas, you know, your typical chicken, fish, vegetables, some fruits here and there, like, I think that is the good food. And there are times where I'll have a smaller lunch or a smaller breakfast in order to have a bigger dinner. So I can relate to this. Putting yourself on a permanent diet, sometimes you can lose weight, sometimes you'll gain weight, and you just go back and forth. This is something that happens to me all the time. I have seen the number on the scale go up and down so many times, to the point that it's probably every other week I'll lose a few and then I'll gain like one back, and then I'll lose a few and gain one back. And a lot of people with eating disorders, it's really hard to be descriptive of what their lifestyle choice for food is, rather than making it like a permanent diet. The number on the scale, as well as the calories, really affect how you look at yourself and your foods. Yeah, that is the number on the scale for at least me, and I think a few other people with eating disorders, really determines how you feel that day. If I were to step on the scale and see that I went up, or that I'm not what I was once, then I really started to get in my head, and I'm like, I start telling myself, I'm like, you gotta focus on what you're putting in your body, you gotta work out, you gotta Like, eat healthier foods. Food and eating becomes something you obsess over. Thinking about cooking and eating food can stress you out and be on your mind 24/7. This one, for sure, is true for me. I think about what I'm eating 24/7. I'll plan out my food throughout the day. I'll be like, oh, I had this many calories in the morning, I'll have this many at lunch, and I'll have a very few at dinner. And it just becomes something that I've obsessed over, and even when I'm cooking my food, I portion it out. Like, that looks like a good amount that I can eat, and then that's it. Strategically eating non-caloric or low-calorie foods as an appetite suppressant. Some even use caffeine, gum, ice, or smoking to avoid a big caloric intake. I definitely have done this. I will look for like really low foods that, you know, don't have a lot of calories or are filling or whatever. I go through a pack of gum pretty quickly just to make sure that I'm not eating until I'm supposed to be eating. The public versus private food debate is that you eat very small amounts or very healthy out in public and then pig out at home. This can be for a variety of reasons, and one is due to the embarrassment of food intake or wanting to watch your calories. This one is for sure, and it kind of goes back and forth because some of my friends before, whenever we'd go out to eat, I would order a salad or something small or just not order at all, and then they would kind of give me a little bit of crap for it. They would kind of make jokes about it, being like, oh, come on, just eat something, or you're really gonna eat a salad, or are you really not gonna order anything like that. And then I get home and I'm like, man, I'm really hungry, and then I'll go eat like chicken, broccoli, rice, vegetables, fruit, like all within one sitting, and it would really hurt my stomach. And that's because I was like embarrassed to eat what I eat in front of people. And at this point, I've just kind of started to slowly accept it. Finally, emotional eating. Eating when you're sad or happy is fine, but someone with eating disorders, it can lead to a guilty feeling or consciousness. That makes it all spiral back to the first bullet and begin the cycle all over again. Whenever I first started losing weight, I gave myself one cheat meal a week, and I strategically had it placed to the day after, or at most 3 days after I weighed myself. That way I could burn all that food off that I had in that cheat meal before I had to weigh myself again. And I would still feel guilty about eating the cheat meal. I would go clean the entire week, and then let's say for dinner I wanted Chinese food. I would pig out on Chinese food or Mexican food or wherever I wanted to go, and I would feel guilty about it. I would be like, am I really gonna eat all this? Am I really putting this in my body? So that one, again, I can completely relate to. And this is all for disordered eating. But like I had said, they connect so closely with each other that it's also part of what goes through the mind of someone with eating disorders. That was also a different website. Again, I'm going to put all the websites that I found these on in the description. So if you want to go check them out for yourself, go for it. I just took little bits and pieces and copy and pasted it into my notes, just so I could have something to read off of. That's it for today's video. I decided after I finished editing that I was gonna split it into 2 parts because it was gonna be about a 17-minute video, and I didn't want you guys to lose interest or be stuck on one video for too long. So this was part 1. Part 2 will be next Wednesday's video. But I hope that you guys enjoyed. I worked really hard on this. I went and did a lot of research and tried to figure out exactly what I was gonna say. And with that being said, I'll see y'all next week. Bye, guys. I don't know why I didn't realize that it was going to be a long video until tonight.